This is Land of Havilah, Hosea 2, continuing with the idea that at present Israel doesn't belong to Yahweh, but eventually they will. Verse 1. Say to your brothers, my people, and to your sisters, my loved one, contend with your mother, contend, for she's not my wife, neither am I her husband, and let her put away her prostitution from her face and her adulteries from between her breasts, lest I strip her naked and make her bare as in the day that she was born, and make her like a wilderness, and set her like a dry land, and kill her with thirst. Indeed, on her children I will have no mercy, for their children of unfaithfulness, for their mother has played the prostitute. She who conceived them has done shamefully, for she said, I'll go after my lovers who give me my bread and my water, my wool and my flax, my oil and my drink. Comment in verse 1, Yahweh says, say to your brothers, my people, and to your sisters, my loved one. He's already said the people are not his, so what he's saying is that they're all related, but not to him. They have idolatry in common. They should recognize they're a family of idolaters. In verse 2, contend with your mother, for she's not my wife. Their mother is the nation Israel. Israel put Yahweh away, so he's put her away. Israel is not his wife. In verse 3, lest I strip her naked, make her bare, make her like a wilderness, set her as a dry land, and kill her with thirst. If they don't repent, they'll suffer. In verse 4, on her children I'll have no mercy. He'll have no mercy on the children of Israel because they're not his. They're the unfaithful children of their unfaithful mother. In verse 5, Israel's lovers are her other gods. She credits those other gods for her bread, water, wool, flax, oil, drink. She credits them for everything, in other words, and she fails to credit Yahweh. Verse 6, therefore, behold, I'll hedge up your way with thorns, and I'll build a wall against her, that she can't find her way. Comment in verse 6, Yahweh will block Israel's path as if by thorns or a wall. He'll actively frustrate Israel's efforts. There'll be no success. Verse 7. She'll follow after her lovers, but she won't overtake them, and she'll seek them, but won't find them. Then she'll say, I'll go and return to my first husband, for then it was better with me than now. For she didn't know that I gave her the grain, the new wine, and the oil, and multiplied to her silver and gold, which they used for Baal. Therefore I'll take back my grain in its time, and my new wine in its season, and will pluck away my wool and my flax, which should have covered her nakedness. Comment in verse 7, Israel will follow after her other gods, but she won't find them. She won't find them in the sense that they will not answer her prayers. She'll be in need, and her gods won't help. So she'll say, I'll return to Yahweh, because then it was better. For in verse 8, they didn't know Yahweh gave them grain, new wine, oil, silver, or gold. Yahweh's been giving them everything, in other words, but they used it all in service of Baal. So he'll withdraw it all now. Verse 10, now I will uncover her lewdness in the sight of her lovers, and no one will deliver her out of my hand. I'll also cause all her celebrations to cease, her feasts, her new moons, her Sabbaths, and all her solemn assemblies. I will lay waste her vines and her fig trees, about which she has said, these are my wages that my lovers have given me, and I'll make them a forest, and the animals of the field shall eat them. I'll visit on her the days of the Baals to which she burned incense, when she decked herself with her earrings and her jewels, and went after her lovers and forgot me, says Yahweh. Comment in verse 10, now I will uncover her lewdness. He's about to horribly embarrass Israel. In verse 11, I'll cause her celebrations to cease, her feast, her new moons, her Sabbaths, and all her solemn assemblies. Israel's been observing holy days to other gods, and if they've been observing them to Yahweh, it's in vain, because he doesn't accept them. Yahweh will put a stop to all their holy days. There'll be no way of observing any of it in captivity. In verse 12, Yahweh will lay waste her vines and fig trees, of which she has said, other gods have given them to me. He'll make their agricultural lands forests. Nature will take back over. The animals of the field will eat the crops that grow up in their absence, the crops that take natural seed in the fields when he sends them away captive. In verse 13, he'll visit on her the days of the Baals. Baal means Lord, and it might mean foreign gods in general, and it might refer particularly to the god of the Sidonians that Jezebel popularized, 1 Kings 16:31. Yahweh will visit the days of the Baals on them. A visitation from Yahweh can be pleasant or unpleasant. In this case, he'll visit hardship on them for the days and years they worship the Baals. In verse 13, Israel decked herself with earrings and jewels, went after her lovers. She loved foreign gods and forgot Yahweh. Verse 14, Therefore, behold, I will allure her and bring her into the wilderness and speak tenderly to her. Comment, since showering Israel with blessings wasn't working, the new wine, oil, gold, and silver, in verse 14, Yahweh will send Israel to the wilderness where there won't be any such abundance, and there he'll woo her, he'll speak tenderly and allure her. He'll send her to the wilderness with the idea of restoring her to himself. Verse 15. I'll give her vineyards from there and the valley of Achor for a door of hope, and she'll respond there as in the days of her youth and as in the day when she came up out of the land of Egypt. It will be in that day, says Yahweh, that you'll call me my husband and no longer call me my master. For I'll take away the names of the Baals out of her mouth, and they'll no longer be mentioned by name. In that day I'll make a covenant for them with the animals of the field and with the birds of the sky and with the creeping things of the ground. I'll break the bow, the sword, and the battle out of the land, and will make them lie down safely. Comment, in verse 15, Israel will respond to Yahweh's wooing in the desert. He'll give her the valley of Achor for a door of hope. Achor means disaster, so the valley of Achor for a door of hope means Yahweh will use disaster to give Israel hope. He'll use it in a constructive way to bring Israel back to him. In verse 16, in that day Israel will call Yahweh husband, not master. She'll think of him as her lover and not her taskmaster. In verse 17, they will no longer mention the Baals. In verse 18, in that day Yahweh will make a covenant with the animals, birds, and creeping things. He'll make a covenant with all nature, in other words, that things should go well for the Israelites. There will be no more bow, sword, or battle in the land, no more war. Israel will lie down in safety. Verse 19. I will betroth you to me forever. Yes, I'll betroth you to me in righteousness, in justice, in loving kindness, and in compassion. I will even betroth you to me in faithfulness, and you shall know Yahweh. Comment, Israel doesn't belong to Yahweh at present, but in that day they will. In verse 19, he'll betroth Israel to himself in faithfulness. Verse 21. It will happen in that day I will respond, says Yahweh. I'll respond to the heavens, and they will respond to the earth. And the earth will respond to the grain and the new wine and the oil, and they will respond to Jezreel. Comment in verses 21 and 22, in that day Yahweh will respond to the heavens will respond to the earth will respond to the grain, new wine, and the new wine and oil will respond to Jezreel, which means God's sowing. In other words, he'll make the heavens and earth line up for the peace and prosperity of Israel. He'll send out that command that will reverberate through the heavens and earth, that Israel shall know him and be peaceful and prosperous. All will be right with the universe. Verse 23. I will sow her to me in the earth, and will have mercy on her who had not obtained mercy, and will tell those who were not my people, you are my people, and they will say, my God. Comment, that's the end of the chapter. In verse 23, God will sow Israel to himself in the earth. He'll sow Israel like a seed and make her grow and prosper in the earth, have mercy on her. She who had not obtained mercy, now she has obtained mercy. And he'll tell them who were not his people, you are my people, and they'll call him my God. Hosea 3 is next.